So a little while ago I made this video talking about the complete Star Wars character encyclopedia, which is an encyclopedia that discusses the movies, advertises it that it discusses the movies, but includes deep-cut EU lore references. That video was a video where I used that to show that the expanded universe was considered to be within continuity and irrelevant to the overall saga, not just as its own side universe, but to the overall saga as well. It was considered important enough to have reference there. I have another book to talk about today that similarly does that, and in the time between making that video and this one, my friend Brady from Fine Editions made a video talking about this book, where he mentions that this book also has deep-cut EU references in a source book that advertises itself as only being information based on the movies, thus showing that the EU is important, right? I have another book like that today, and I did mention this book a while ago in this video, but that video was a long time ago. I didn't go into it as much as I wanted to, and I felt like it warranted its own video just about it. And what book is that? Star Wars Annual 2009 by Pedigree Books from the UK. Let's talk about this book, shall we? Let's open it up and look at the EU within. So here we are, Star Wars Annual 2009. There are several annuals, and I don't know if all the other annuals have EU connections as well, but I do plan on tracking them down at some point. These were published between 2005 and 2014, so there's 9 that are relevant to the EU, and then there's 3 that are relevant to Disney canon, so I didn't keep up with those. But so there's 9 of these volumes for the Expanded Universe from 2005 to 2014. These are all pretty sizable, they all come in hardcover, and they're all super cheap. I actually got this for £1.25, which is roughly the equivalent of $2.15, or at least it was at the time that I got it. And this is a full-on hardcover book. Here's the back cover, and it was published only in the UK by Pedigree. These are pretty easy to get in the States as well. Okay, so opening it up, you're going to see some stuff that you'd expect from something like this. Now, it has a cover price of £7.99, interestingly. Lucky for me, it didn't hold its value. So here's what you'd expect from this, right? This is all information based on the films. And then you get the story content, which is message recordings that summarize the movie from a new point of view. Now, is that new EU information? A debate can be had, I guess. There's a couple little sentences here and there that I thought were somewhat new information, but mostly it's just recapping the films for children, and you'll see why this is for children shortly. Then you get stuff here, like the history of the Galactic Republic. This is very interesting information. While not typically or completely EU, it is very interesting. Then you have this, which shows the power hierarchy in the Republic, which is very, very interesting indeed. But again, this is all based on the movies. This is where you see why this is for kids. Quiz questions based on the movie material that you'll see throughout this book. And more message recordings that are just summarizing the film, which is what you might expect to see from this. But as I'll get to shortly, you will see why there is important EU references here. The history of the Sith Empire, the Sith Order. Alright. So, as you can see, it talks about, not by name, but a reference to Ajunta Paul here. And then Naga Sadao name drop for my good friend, the revanchist Marcel Ryan, a Tales of the Jedi enthusiast. That might make this book worth picking up, as it summarizes Tales of the Jedi here. And then flipping over to here, the Sith Wars. Here is Darth Bane stuff. Darth Riven, that's an more obscure one. Belia Darzu, the Brotherhood of Darkness, the Jedi Order's Army of Light. There's Bane's name drop, and a whole section of information on Darth Bane and Zana not by name but is referenced. And there you have it. That is a ton of EU references to Tales of the Jedi, the Bane trilogy. This is just, and I end up spitting on the book. That's not good. I like to keep my stuff pristine. But, as you can see there, that is a ton of unique, in-depth, expanded universe references to Tales of the Jedi and Darth Bane. How cool is that? Going beyond the films here. And you'll see that again very soon. More information from the films. More message recordings summarizing those films. And here is where it sort of gets really interesting. Character profiles, alright? So you'll see these character profiles here, and it mostly is just summarizing the films. But moving up here, their little data cards say a little bit about them. And notice whose name is right there on Qui-Gon's. Xanatos from Jedi Apprentice is listed as being Qui-Gon Jinn's Padawan. He didn't have to do this. The author, whoever he was who wrote this, they didn't have to include Xanatos there. They could have just put Obi-Wan Kenobi and called it a day. This is for children. They've likely never read Jedi Apprentice. I mean, Jedi Apprentice is for children, but this is for children who have read, who have watched the movies. This is for the casual movie audience. That's who this is for. So if the EU was never canon, if the EU never mattered, why did he print Xanatos' name right there next to Obi-Wan Kenobi's? Because it was considered in continuity, and it was considered important enough to be included. The expanded universe was considered important information to Star Wars, not just its own little side gig, as some would have you believe. Look over here. You need more proof? Vehicles, floating chair, Kaibuck. The Kaibuck being from Genndy Tartakovsky's Micro series. What's more, Ikrit is a Padawan listed here from the Junior Jedi Knights books and New Jedi Order. How terrific is that? When I read Xanatos and Ikrit on this page, I about just threw the book across the room with pure glee and delight. I was so excited to see that. So again, I pose the question, if the EU wasn't canon, wasn't considered to be important, then why do this? You know? So, moving on, there is more EU to unpack here. Saving the best for last. Might take a little while to get through it as it's summarizing the OT now. But we shall get there. Then you have these beautiful poster pages that are absolutely gorgeous. I love this Star Wars annual. It's really high quality pages. So to get this for the equivalent of $2 is really good. These are all pretty cheap on eBay. I'm currently trying to get 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, and then 2010 to 2014. Since this is the 2009 volume. I'm trying to get them currently, and if I were to get all of them, it would cost me maybe a bit over $30 to get all of them. So to me, I would say picking up a full set of this is very worth your time if you're an EU fan looking for more information. All of these recordings expand the lore a little bit. Plus, there's some great references to unpack as well. Then a page on the Rebel Alliance here is very nice. I don't recall there being any EU specifically here, but there is some interesting stuff here like ranks that you can have within the Rebel Alliance, which I'm not sure if that's anywhere else, but I thought that was pretty unique. More quizzes for the children there. And we are almost upon the last thing I wanted to highlight in this volume. Now, if I ever get other annuals and I find more EU information within those other annuals, I will totally make another video like this one showcasing those. And here we are. The Skywalker family tree in print in Star Wars Annual 2009. Here is the Skywalker family tree. But the EU wasn't canon. The EU never mattered. It wasn't considered canon. Wait a minute. Are you saying they printed Jason Solo, Jaina Solo, and Anakin Solo's name into this book? Those characters being exclusively from the Expanded Universe books, and they put it in print as being the official Skywalker family tree. It just blows my mind how cool that is. Look at their names there like that. I wish they'd included photos, but as it is, it looks terrific. And then over here, Mara Jade is listed as Luke's wife, and then their son Ben Skywalker is listed as well. How cool is that? I'll get a shot from up here so people can screenshot this if you want to have this, because this is a really nice Skywalker family tree, and I've seen lots of Skywalker family trees on the internet, but this is an official, canon-produced, in-continuity, licensed Skywalker family tree that was put in print, and I think it's so super cool that we got to see Jason and Jaina from the Thrawn trilogy originally, and then from so many other books, Anakin from Dark Empire, Mara from the Thrawn trilogy and so many other books, and Ben Skywalker from New Jedi Order through to Fate of the Jedi as well. I thought that was a brilliant thing to see. But since I made it all the way back here, I might as well flip the last couple of pages. Don't think there's any more EU back here, but there's an answer key for the quiz. How terrific is that? This is honestly one of my favorite books in my collection, because flipping these pages open, I was not expecting to see Ikrit, Xanatos, Jason, Jaina, Anakin, Darth Bane, Darth Riven, Belia Darzu. I was not expecting to see any of them here. How amazing is it that that was included here? So I just think that's so super cool. Wanted to make a video about it. If you want to see me pick up more annuals and do more videos based on the other annuals, let me know in the comments, and let me know in the comments if you would like to pick this up for yourself. I would definitely recommend this to other EU fans as something that's really, really surprisingly important and cool to put on your list of stuff to look for.